am Emily with the Harrisburg District Library, back again with our little series on houseplant care tips and some information. Now, disclaimer at the top, I am no expert. I've just done a lot of reading of books and articles online and talking to people and a lot of trial and error. What you don't see is all the empty pots that no longer have plants in them that did not survive. But that's okay because it's all part of the learning and growing plant process. So plants can do a lot for us. They can be a source of stress reliever. They can detoxify the air. It can be therapeutic for us. So that is why I decided to do this little series for our patrons of the library. The first video I talked about lighting and what it can say on the care tag and what the light in your windows might be. I talked about how to take care of some of the difficulties with getting light to your plants, and then I talked about the devil's ivy pothos vining plant, which you can see right here hanging up. I have 2 golden pothos. This video I'm going to give a few very general tips on watering and then talk about spider plants. So watering depends on your plant, the pot, and your surroundings. So first off, the plant, let's see, a lot of plants are going to go longer, some will go shorter. During the winter, here's one that will take the plant and the surroundings. My cacti during the winter can go 2 weeks without watering. During the summer, they dry out a lot quicker. They're gonna need to go more frequently with a watering. So typically during the colder winter months, any plant can go longer without watering. And then when it gets warmer, that soil will dry out a lot quicker. So you need to water more often. Yes, you can look at your plant and say, ooh, those leaves are drooping. They are sad. Maybe they're discolored. That probably means your plant needs to be watered. Once again, I will say that I keep my little notebook to tell me when I have watered everything. So I'll look at it and be like, okay, when was the last time I watered my fiddle leaf fig? Oh, it was a week ago, so let's get after it. You can pick up your plant. Say, it's kind of lightweight. It feels almost weightless. That potting soil must be very dry. So water it, and then when you pick it back up after you've watered it, notice the difference. So that will be a good indicator as to whether or not you need to water your plant. When I water, I really have no rhyme or reason, to be honest. I can water from the top and water all the way around, and here's where it goes to watching the pot you have it in. You want to have pots that have holes in the bottom. This one does not have a hole in the bottom, but bam, the bottom comes off and there's the holes. So when I water this, I take an old cup, an old saucer. Honestly, I think I had noodles in this. And I will pour from the top. I will pour all the way around so the water is getting to the roots all the way around the plant. The water will come down in the bottom, and then I let it soak up that water for half an hour, around. Sometimes I might just go ahead and stick it in there and pour the water right into that saucer. So generally look for pots that have holes right into the bottom because that will make your life so much better. We'll talk about these right here in a minute. Now here is one that is a very pretty pot. It was awesome, and yes, it does have a hole in the bottom. There are ways that you can make holes in pots that aren't there, but that calls for like a drill and a ceramic drill bit and being very careful, and we've done that a couple times, but it is not my preferred method. If you have a plastic pot or even a ceramic pot, your plant can likely go longer without watering, but if you have terracotta pots, these will dry out much quicker. That terracotta is just going to suck the moisture out of the soil, so you will need to water your terracotta pots a lot more. I don't love planting in terracotta because you can see the discoloration. They will come off on your hands and discolor everything. So I don't love terracotta pots. I stay away from them. I prefer to go plastic pot or ceramic pot. Now, like I said, you can water from the top. You can pour it directly into the saucer. It just depends on what I'm watering, to be honest. When I water my fiddle leaf fig, I stick it in a giant saucer and I pour it around the top and I let it sit down at the bottom. There's only one plant that I have that I only ever water from the top, and that's my African violet. It sits in a saucer. I pour the water right in the saucer and it sucks it all the way up. The reasoning for that is the leaves do not like to be touched by water. They will get all angry. So I just don't water from the top for that. So your watering schedule will depend on your surroundings, the temperature, the pot, the plant. You can generally do a quick check. Like I said, by picking it up. Is it lightweight? Is it heavy? Take your fingers, stick it in. Is it dry for the first 2 inches? Probably go ahead and water it. If not, give it a few more days and check it out. You can keep a list of when you water everything. Some of them will curl, get discolored, just look really droopy. Don't let that happen too often. It can be stressful on your plant. Now, the water itself, there are plants out there that will only respond to distilled water, and I do not keep those plants. I just don't like it. I keep lots of empty jugs. Recycling, y'all. And just fill them up with water and keep them at the ready. I let it sit for at least 24 hours. I don't know if it does anything, but it's my method. It's what works for me. I keep you can see down here, 4 or 5 of these just filled up with water all the time at the ready whenever the watering gets a hold of me. And I am apparently a thirsty plant myself. So, let's see. You might come to a schedule and just know every weekend I water my plants. Some plants aren't like that, some plants are. Just depends on who you are as a person. If you just give it a little cup full of water every time, perfect, great. You'll get used to it. My mom has a schedule where every Saturday and Sunday are plant watering days, no matter what. She has been a plant lady for my whole life, so it's what works for her. She's got it down to a science. Now, we talked about some basic watering tips, and so now I'm going to move on to our basic houseplant today. This one I think you can find at most general big box stores, Kroger, Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot. But of course, once again, if you have a nursery around you, go support that small business. Check out what they have. Today we are talking about, let's move all this stuff around, the spider plant / curly spider plant, aka Chlorophytum comosum. This is just the regular spider plant, and this variety is called Bonnie spider plant because she's curly spider plant. Both of these are major air cleaners. According to NASA, NASA did a study on houseplants and how they can clean the air in our house. Both of them will tolerate that bright indirect light, which means that it enjoys bright light, perhaps away from behind a sheer curtain, no direct sunlight. It will be too harsh and it might burn the leaves. This one can survive in low light. I have this one sitting on a table 2 feet back from a south window, and it loves it, as you can tell. This one I have sitting in my west window that is shaded by 2 trees, so there's no direct sunlight. It's just nice and bright there in the afternoons, and it also thrives. These variegated plants with the coloring will need more light to grow and thrive. So if you had this in a south window, put a sheer curtain there and it will not burn the leaves. So both of these, pardon my dogs, grow little babies, and that is what you might have seen at the library before. We have several spider plants in the library, and Mackenzie has taken clippings and laid them out for people to take. So let me see. On this one, I can see this little bit right here, I think is about to become a spider plant offshoot right here. And when it grows these offshoots, as you can tell on this Bonnie right here, that's what we clip and becomes these little babies that you take home. You can put these in water or transplant them directly into soil. I love putting mine into water so that I can establish root systems before I stick it in soil. So here, let me get these out. This is about 4 little babies that I took off a giant spider plant I had. So I will put these in soil, give them away, do all kinds of stuff with these. There's about 4 of them here. And like I said, these are just living in a mug full of water in an east window. And that is what this one came from. It lived in a cup of water for probably close to 2 years. And then maybe 3 months ago, I planted it in this plastic pot. And already the roots are growing out the bottom. It is growing so quickly, so I will need to up pot it to a larger pot shortly. And like I said, I hope that this little leaf right here is going to be giving me a little spider plant baby soon. And then on the Bonnie, you can tell she's in a ceramic kind of terracotta pot, but it does have that hole at the bottom which lets the water flow out. And this obviously grows spider plant babies around it as well. You can tell right there. And I can clip these and stick them in water or let them grow. You can see it's already growing roots right here. You see that? Those are the roots that it's already growing for me to show off right there. I think there's about 4 or 5 of them around this plant. So you can keep your spider plant in water or stick it in soil, and you might notice that mine has some brown tips on it. That happens. It's either from infrequent watering or the type of water. You could give it distilled water if you wanted to. I'm not going to. That's why I just set my water out. So there's some quick care on watering your plant depending on the pot, the plant, the surroundings, the time of year, and then some quick tips on your spider plants. So I love how elegant these are, this vivid green. It's kind of a statement plant, and same for this one. So if you have any other ideas, questions, just drop us a comment and let us know. Thanks, everyone.